Later, the ripple effect has been harsh on businesses. The prevalence of the COVID-19 has put up a dark blanket on the economy. This begs the question, could Kenyans survive a lockdown?
The coronavirus on businesses has clearly now started being felt, and with each country across the globe taking up drastic measures in order to forestall the spread of this virus, the resilience of Kenya's economy is clearly being put to test.
For instance, those distributing supplies for schools such as food and the transport providers were abruptly put out of business. But where the country's economic uncertainty lays is in export earnings, which are now hanging on a thread. For instance, the horticulture sector, which contributed over 150 billion shillings last year and is one of the top foreign exchange earner, is being crippled.
Sales for the flowers have gone down by close to 70% as we speak. We command about 40% of the market share in Europe, so Kenya is the dominant supplier of cut flowers to Europe. A lot of flower farms have shut down production altogether and export. A lot of them are doing between 20 to 30%, and that cannot sustain the workforce. A lot of growers are actually cash-strapped.
In Naivasha, workers embarked on dumping ready flowers meant for export. Seasonal workers' contracts were terminated, with the sector reportedly losing millions of shillings each day. In Maridadi Flower Farm, over 1 million stems of roses, which were destined for Holland, withered in their damp composite site as the heap rose by the day.
We employ about 150,000 people, and therefore those jobs are at risk as we speak.
Currently, we are producing about 200 to 230,000 stems a day, and they're all going onto the compost heap.
The tourism sector, which last year raked in more than 160 billion shillings, is another one suffering, with bed occupancy reducing drastically. The national carrier continues reporting losses from the grounding of hundreds of its key flights. If the situation would escalate, the worst-case scenario would be the government putting the capital on a lockdown or even calling for a state of emergency like the recent cases in Spain. Could Kenya's economy survive a lockdown?
Going to a full lockdown, it might hurt the economy even more, because unlike in Europe or in US, where people have massive amounts of savings or insurance or social safety nets, most Kenyan workers really are operating on daily wages.
The ripple effect will be felt by many.
Some landlords have obtained mortgages from the commercial banks, so they still have to service those mortgages. Now, unless those banks tell those landlords that there's a moratorium on paying those mortgages,
the government will be in the hot seat.
We believe that if we worked with government, we can be able to salvage this, because the government is owing us a lot of money in terms of VAT refunds. It's owing us close to 8 to 10 billion.
Lillian Kiarie, NTV.